Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Coleman and Taylor, aka Let the Madness Begin. William Coleman, Marshawn Taylor. And how's it going this evening?
It's going. I'm surprised that you hit me up to do another show, but it's all good. I'm here.
Well, of course, as they say, geographically, it made more sense.
Okay.
Instead of having you go.
I got you.
And then I was like, okay, something was brought up last night that made me want to talk. And I said, you know what? While it's fresh on the mind, let's go ahead and talk about it.
Let's go.
Which is, we don't have the answer. You made that comment last night,
right?
And it made me wonder.
Okay,
is that the problem with Black people? That we just figure nobody has the answer? Is because we automatically assume because we don't like what's said.
No.
That it's not the answer because we don't like the way it's said, but are we really willing to try to make it the answer?
I understand, good point. But remember what you said though, and you have a very valid point as well, saying that we know the answer. Sometimes we don't like what the possible consequences of that let's say the answer, the resolution. You know, we're afraid of what the consequences will be in result of the resolution or the idea or the answer, as we saying. Maybe.
Okay, I like that because one thing I always tell people, and I like we started. We don't have the answer. No. We don't. Not saying anything that we say will work out. Not saying anything we say should be tried. But in light of everything that's going on, are we willing to look at things as we quote unquote say outside the box? When people be like, let's try something different. Let's try something, revolutionary, innovative. So are we turning down certain things because the first thing we say is you don't have the answer. You don't know what you're talking about. What makes you think you ain't been on this earth long enough? These are what we say to each other instead of saying, well, let me look at it from that point of view to see if we can manipulate it to fit the situation.
Okay.
How you feel about that?
There's nothing wrong with that. I can see it as a good option. And you're right. And necessarily, because everybody says they think outside the box and necessarily don't. What I mean by outside the box, it's a way of, because everybody does that.
Right.
Everybody does it to a certain extent, but like you said, your my out of box thinking may be different from yours, to where there's certain extremes that you're willing to, to look at an option, like you said. As far as the rappers, they should be, always in touch with their neighborhood. But in reality, they're never necessarily not my tongue off. Necessarily in touch with their neighborhood. It goes back when I'm thinking, if they're not in touch from the beginning of their journey to becoming who they are, they'll never be in touch.
Fair.
But and like I said, and a lot of times it may be too late to reach back, but it doesn't hurt to try. You actually see very valid points. It's just, if we depend on, like I said, if we depend on a Jay-Z, a Michael Jordan, LeBron James, or Will Smith to give us answers, we can wait a long ass time. And that's what's killing with you. We can wait a long ass time. I'll be honest with you, and that's why I always say it's on us, not necessarily me and you as individuals, us as in other people. The people that we be around, the people that we come across, the people that we influence. We have to figure out answers. Like you said, even it has to be the most hardcore thing. Like you said, stop going to NFL games, stop buying jerseys, stop buying apparel, TV, stop watching, or watch a specific team. That's we have to, like I said, and I need a very good point. And I thought about it. You got to take a stand somewhere. It's got to start somewhere, and I feel, and my answer to you is, I can't expect it to start at Will Smith and because like I said, a few moments ago, we can wait a long time.
Right.
Because they feel there's other issues that can be addressed in their realm that can, in a way, does affect us indirectly.
True.
which is fine. This is cool. Like I said, you want to put wells in Africa? That's cool. That's the motherland. They need to drink water. They need clean water too. Understandable. But right now, here and that, as far as where we're at right here, we try to affect the things and the people that go on around us.
I think we should do a show on that maybe afterwards because I'm split on that.
What's that?
On the team building aspect of us in Africa. I'm split, but and I think we'll do a show about that after this because I'm actually split on that and I'm torn. And I explain why in that show, but I'm torn on that one, and it's not a bad torn. It's just I'm conflicted.
But I think what you try to do a lot of times, you try to have that one answer that covers everything, and you have a good point. You have a good answer. It's just I don't think there's just a one answer
Right.
to solution. There's no one. I wish there's a one thing that can cover all bases, but there's always going to be an exception. There's always going to be something that slips between the cracks. It never fails. It happens.
That's true. I agree with you, and it's funny because I think either last night, no matter of fact, I think it was earlier today. I happened to just be scrolling, just setting up everything, and this particular DJ in New York said he's going to stop playing gangster music or gang music.
I saw the same thing.
Right.
But the crazy thing is, what he's not about culture.
You're right.
He's of the culture, but he's not
of the culture. You're absolutely right. But it's like if you take a stance,
right,
you're gonna get ostracized. We know that.
Right.
But is it worth the stance?
If you hold your ground.
So in essence, if he's willing to take a stance, trickle down effect.
Right.
In our communities, are we willing to take that stance? Because some that I think we miss in a lot of this stuff, we're not being killed or murdered or robbed by the white man. We're being killed, murdered, and robbed by family members, being killed, murdered, and robbed by best friends. We're being killed, murdered, and robbed by childhood friends, being killed, murdered, and robbed by the person we grew up to who was next door to us, because these are the people that's in these gangs.
Okay, good point.
It's not like there's a secret society doing this. Right. Matter of fact, it'd be the person that killed the person be at the funeral, hugging the mother.
Like in Juice?
Mm-hmm. It just be like, it'd be just like it, hugging bitch, hugging. If you need anything, yo, and that's not what they did. No, he was. That's his own. Wow. Yeah, but it'd be like that.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, so it's not like it's an outside entity. It'll be different if it was space aliens, and then we could be like, okay, right, well, it's space aliens. We don't know where they're coming from, but we actually know where it's coming from. And you're right. There is no one answer.
Yeah, but
can we try? And I'm not just saying with me.
Yeah,
but can we try?
I agree with trying. No, by all means. But everything. But the thing about it is, see, the thing, and I think it's not necessarily you. A lot of times we expect an immediate effect.
Okay.
It's not just you, which is we a lot of times we're like, okay, all right. It's like you go on a diet. You eat salad for a week. You expect to lose 10 pounds the following week.
You're right.
Now you might lose the 10 pounds 3 weeks down the road if you continue eating the salad and you throw in a little exercise. And drink some extra, drink water, certain amount of water a day.
I agree.
But we don't, and a lot of times we see it as, it's being difficult, it's being hard. We look at that short long term. Okay, Monday and Tuesday you're cool in the salad. Wednesday, damn man, I'm tired of these salads.
Start throwing a little meat on the
salad. Right? Just a little bit of meat. Yeah, man, fulfilling. But then Friday,
you turn that salad into a burger. You put lettuce tomato on the burger.
You got bread. Yeah, exactly. See what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
And that's what it is. Knowingly, like, okay, wait a minute. You stick with eating the salad without, all the dressing, maybe a little dab here and there. Just stick with the vegetables. Maybe now again, you might throw in a little something extra. You might throw in a little cranberries, something mixed up. You might want to throw a little meat on it every now and again. But if you stick the road, you get the result. You start getting something towards the results you want.
I agree with you. And, and I thought about, because you said it here, It's a commitment issue.
Right.
And earlier today, there's a commitment to failure.
True.
And I think we don't really realize that there is a commitment to failure, because you are literally willing to commit to not doing your best, willing to commit to stopping anything. You're willing to commit to saying, I will no longer pursue something. And that's a willingness, because it's not that you can't, you're just willing to say, you know what, I'd rather not achieve something.
Right.
And I think a lot of times that's how I feel with us, is the reason why we don't try, because we're not willing to succeed in that part, because
we see a mental roadblock, like you said, that failure. That like you said, we don't even try yet. We don't even step out the door.
Exactly.
And we already expecting a roadblock. You are expecting, you going right to your car, my Sean. For some reason, you feel like there's something gonna be waiting, like now you get to your car.
Mm-hmm.
You know, same thing. You going to the bathroom. Damn, you know, you gonna piss yourself. But while the bathroom's right there, just get up and walk over to the bathroom. But something's not gonna allow me to make it to the bathroom.
I agree.
You know, and that's why I always say the first step is always the hardest step. You know, it's always the hardest step. And I realize a lot of things that I've done, it's just, you don't second guess yourself. Sometimes you just got to do it.
I agree.
Sometimes you got to stop overthinking, put a thought into it. If it's something you want to do it. Make it happen as best as you can.
And since it's Black History Month, let's actually take a look at what has really transpired, because from Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, to Harriet Tubman, you could go throughout history, everybody who decided to step up. I think we don't understand and realize that there was a section of African Americans that did not want them to do that.
True.
There was a section of African Americans who literally were like, why are you messing with the status quo?
Because, yeah, and I know you go ahead and explain why they saw it that way. Because there's two sides of it.
Because they felt like as long as we do what we're doing, they won't bother us. Some of them was benefiting from it because maybe they were the favorite Negro. Let's keep it real. Some Negroes, once somebody from another race touched them, all of a sudden they feel like they're favorite, and they're willing to be subjected to certain things to be accepted. But on both sides, you have people who really, you had one person that had to step up and say, despite my own people not liking me doing this, despite the people who don't look like me not like me doing this, I have to stand and do this. I think it's the same way with people now, because if you stand up and you say, I don't like what you're doing, the people who look like you are gonna be like, you too good now. You remember when you used to do it? Exactly. That's why I don't want you to do it. So I think that's what happened now. But instead of us keeping the walk, we're like, I don't even want to deal with it. I'm just gonna.
I got you. So speaking of that, so with the thing of integration, do you feel it's going to be kind of hard to say to kind of throw it at you? So I'm just going to throw it out there and see how you pick it up. Now, say for instance, because remember, Martin Luther King wasn't necessarily fighting for the integration piece, more the equality and empowerment piece.
Right.
What if he was successful on the equality empowerment piece minus the integration? Do you think things would be much different now?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel as though it's something to be said when you have a common enemy. I think we don't realize that.
Right.
When the towers fell, America was at the most united it's probably ever been.
So they say.
Yeah, so they say. So because we had a common enemy who just happened to be about the same color as us, and it just happened to be that way. America likes hating people that are dark for whatever reason. It is what it is. Cause
well, I want you to know, man, you're not that dark. I'm the darkest one in the room in this whole house. So I just want you to be clear about that. So I just want to let you know that. I remember I met you with a little lighter, so it was just darker. So, but we allowed you to be a part of the cruise. You're part. Okay. You're part of the dark side of the black delegation. You win there, brother. So you're not Drake's color, so you
Oh,
good.
good.
You
Woo,
good. So you
give me that.
darker than Drake's, you good.
But yeah, it's like we was united, and I think if we would have got the equality portion of it and empowerment, we would have a more united front because
Okay.
we will be working towards keeping it and growing it.
Okay.
When integration happened, what did we keep?
Okay.
What are we growing? You know, if people, I guess this is hard to say, but if we're still talking about Black businesses in 2022, then obviously we are a failed race. Because
I would say failed.
think about it like this:
I would say failed.
we had Black businesses,
Right.
so why are we acting like they're brand new? Why are we surprised?
Because you now that's hard to explain. It's not hard to explain. For me, it is. It's for me to explain it. If, say, for instance, open a restaurant and all I sell is peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I open the restaurant. I make money. I'm making money off of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, my Sean. So I'm making crazy. I'm rich out of my mind. Now I'm a question. The thing is, somebody comes to me and says, "So what's next?" Well, dog, I'm just gonna continue sending peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. But mind you, there's people out here that are allergic to peanut butter, can't eat peanut butter. There's people that don't like peanut butter and jelly altogether.
Right?
You know,
Who cares?
still just stick with me now.
Okay.
There's people that may not like jellies, people that like
Right.
peanut butter and bananas, peanut butter and honey, whatever. So in the long run, we had a good plan. I'm just sticking with the plan that's always been working with me instead of thinking about, okay, so what's the next innovative thing I want to do with what I started. And that's pretty much what we've done. We've stuck with the same plan, Black businesses, which, like you said, which we've always had.
Mhm.
It's just we're repeating the same plan because nobody's sitting there thinking about, wait a minute, stop. Okay, we the Black business thing we got. So what else we're trying to accomplish?
Okay.
Like you said, are we trying to get Black politicians? Which we have, which
Okay.
we do have to an extent.
Right.
But a lot of them are following that old way of doing it.
I agree with
You know what I'm saying? We still sticking to everything how it's done prior. Because nobody's, like you said before, and not to say be it's true or not. If I'm learning everything from Jesse Jackson and I say, hey, won't we try this? He says, no, we're gonna stick to that. And to the point he hammers in your head, this is the plan, this is my way of doing things, this is how you shall continue to do things.
Right.
You kind of let that idea, innovative way of thinking go out the door. That's the thing. We haven't came up anything innovative outside of Black businesses. Because why? That's the accessible thing for us to do, the Black business thing.
Okay. I agree. I can accept that. That's not a problem.
But like I said, I think that's what our problem is. We never got innovative beyond a Black business, which we've already had. Things or Black, what's the next thing?
Okay, that's fair. Because if we would have stayed with the equality portion,
right,
and the empowerment portion, then guess what would have kept and try to grow?
We would have had more Black businesses.
Exactly. So technically, we failed because we're trying to scrounge up at ground zero to pick up pieces from some that we already had because we was more willing to give up everything to be accepted.
Yeah. And
you will never be accepted by someone who don't want you.
I wouldn't say accepted. I say just be a part of what we thought, like you said, like we often say, the greener grass.
Okay. So go ahead.
But I wouldn't say, like I said, I wouldn't say is that not we failed. It's just we never got innovative with what we started with.
Okay. We have a saying, right?
Go ahead with the saying, man.
The saying, if you don't evolve, you die like the dinosaurs.
Hey, man.
And I think that's what we're doing. We're dying.
Slowly but surely. Because we're slowly evolving.
All right. The next thing is I want to ask, great way you said that. So under the equality and empowerment, will we have actually tailored the American dream to us?
We already had done it. It's just we got away. Like I said, we thought the American dream that was over there was better than what we put before us. We
Okay.
could have improved on the dream we had in front of us. We could, like you said, we could have went from having businesses to townships,
To corporations.
corporations.
I agree with you.
And we still can do that. But you know, we like you said, you know, we're busy doing. The minute I come to you with an idea, it's the fear of what if it works? What if we fail? We can try again.
Exactly.
If we try again, we fail. We try again. But this time we figure out what we went wrong at. And we hit that roadblock. Guess what? We can navigate that roadblock.
That's true.
And at the same time, we find other people that can help us navigate the roadblocks. Because a lot of times it's knowing the right person in the right mind in the right time that can put you in the right direction or on the right path.
I agree.
You know, because maybe we're going down Rivers Avenue, we're trying to get downtown, and maybe we need to go ahead and get on the interstate and I-26 and head in.
Yep.
And then maybe, hey, wait a minute, there's a roadblock on 26th, and hey, maybe we need to get off at the Cosgrove, go to West Ashley, and get downtown.
So what you're saying is technically we don't know how to maneuver once we hit that wall.
Yeah, a lot of us don't, because like you said, when we hit that road, that failure, that roadblock, it's like, damn, everything goes out the window.
Right.
It's done. It's over. Instead of, okay, let's back up a couple steps.
And look around
it.
Look over it.
Hey, if we got to go under, we got to go under it. If it's possible to go through it, we'll go through it. You know, and we don't do that. You know, we don't do that with each other. We don't push each other enough. You know, and I think the crazy thing is our parents teach us that and encourage that, you know, in elementary, preschool, and middle school, but they don't reinforce it anyway. Because by that time, like you said, we should have picked it up and carried on. But sometimes it needs to be reinforced even more. It needs to be emphasized some more. Our teachers need to be doing the same thing. And I think a lot of times that's missing is the message doesn't carry over all the time from school, from home to school, from school to home.
I like that. I agree. So in this society now, we have, you know, multiple issues. You know, every time we turn around, there's going to be an issue. Do you feel as though the problem is that not that there are issues, it's the fact that we are not concentrating on the issues that matter?
Issues that matter, like?
So this goes against my blackness, but I like conversation. So
go ahead, man. Let's talk about it.
Instead of concentrating on what cop killed us, maybe we should concentrate on who Pookie killed. Maybe we should concentrate on who Ray Ray killed, or the 6 gangs that raped the girl in the neighborhood. Maybe we should concentrate on that, and maybe that can alleviate the other from a certain extent. Maybe cleaning up that portion may actually clean up the other portion, because certain people, even though they died in police custody, were not citizens of the United States in that light.
I could see that. I can, yes and no, because you got to look at it this way. Even though it's been happening frequently, the probability that happening has been far and few in between. It's just now that it's been, I would say, not far and few between. It's been reported more. Just like, for instance, you heard about the cop in Tulsa. He was, you know, taking advantage of, you know, women in this neighborhood. I want to say it's pretty much a project type setting, and you know, he'll pull them over, force them to perform an act, you know, sexual act. You know, he was illegally arresting people. I mean, you know, and the crazy thing is a lot of things been happening. It's just now it's being spotted. You know, well, just go ahead and say.
Why were those women out by themselves?
We see now you throwing off.
No. But that's what I'm saying. If we actually take over our communities, that cop wouldn't have the easier access to do
I
that.
could see that.
And I
could see
think that that's why I said, maybe we need to reroute our focus because that is important.
I think what you're trying to say, we should take, because we got away from the neighborhood police and neighborhood along with the police. And I think that's what you're saying. Yes, that's what we gotten away from. It's gone from everybody minding their own businesses within their own fence, everybody minding the neighborhood to everybody minding their business if it's nothing what's the word for it? If it's nothing gossip worthy.
Okay.
It's something malicious.
Okay.
That's the only time we get involved. Like you said, if there's something to talk about, little Ricky got hemmed up on the corner selling drugs, and his mama had to do what she ever had to do to get the money to get him out of jail or what type deal. That's the only time we be involved with the neighborhood gossip. We got something to talk about, just to make somebody else look bad, sound bad. But like you said, if we ever, cause like originally that's what we did. We policed ourselves, but we also had policemen in the neighborhood that were from the neighborhood.
True.
Agree. or of the same culture, but they knew how to communicate. They knew how to talk. Now there's cops that are that are white or whatever that know how to communicate.
Right.
How to carry themselves, conduct themselves. But when we talk about those times, a lot of times some cops that were in the neighborhood were from the neighborhood.
Right.
Or they were familiar with people in the neighborhood. One way or the other. They made themselves like I said, a pillar of the community. They upheld the law, they upheld the peace, the prosperity within the community.
I agree with you. The only reason why I brought that up because, even the Nation of Islam believe that, your women shouldn't be escorted unprotected.
I agree.
And one thing I noticed in our communities, we have allowed our female, especially young girls, to roam the streets.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think the thing is, we go back to being, regardless how dangerous a neighborhood be, when you get comfortable, when you get, what's the other word for it? When you get what is the word? When you get comfortable,
Conform.
Not conform. No, it begins with, I think it begins with a C, but it's the fucking word. Damn it, the word. But either way, when you get to the position to where it's your comfort zone, you used to walk in the street at night because you know who's doing what in the street, where, whatever. Now, mind you, like you said, by themselves at the same time, the cop was probably watching, lurking the same neighborhood, walking the same street, knowing, okay, all right. Shanika, she walks down the street about 9:30, going to the corner store, okay, by herself, or she goes, so on Friday she might have her little daughter with her, or pushing the stroller, then her boyfriend might come by such and such time, Tammy, I know she be drunk all the time, she fall out drunk on the bench a couple times, you like I said, we never know.
Right. No, people, you're absolutely right.
And people don't understand. And I hope that's one thing you teach to your daughter. What that's what I teach my kids. You just gotta be aware of your surroundings all the time and don't get comfortable. What is the word? What is the word that you get too comfortable? Complacent.
Okay.
That's the word. Complacent.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, and that's the thing, it's complacency. Because you think about it, you're good within your neighborhood, but there's no telling who's coming into your neighborhood as well that's not a part of your neighborhood, that's watching everything, Because like you said, that, like I told you, everybody knew of this cop on what he was doing. That's crazy. That's the crazy thing about it.
No, that you can't tell me that.
Crazy.
Can't no man know.
You crazy.
Can't no man know that.
My Sean. As much, think about it. As much as women talk in the neighborhood,
okay.
As much as we communicate with another about things wrong, I'm pretty sure a certain amount of people in that neighborhood and area.
And I'm not saying I'm the most, as Master P would say, about it person in the world, but some things are worth going to jail for.
I understand. And you're right.
I mean, it sounds horrible.
But it's hard. But at the same time, and you know what? We also have that stigma that, and I'm not sure why we don't have that stigma. We have that stigma that the police won't police their own. They won't You'd be surprised
No,
sometimes.
no, no. You're right.
You know, and I think that could have been it as well, especially the history of Tulsa.
No. I agree
Especially
with
being
you.
the history of Tulsa.
But here's where I this is where my issue is with all these. I'm not a tough guy, but there are gang members out there who are tough.
Right.
At what point does your toughness not allow you to take down someone who was harming your people?
Dude, I don't know. And
that's why I say all gang members are cowards, because you are not man enough to take down the people who are really hurting us. You'd rather take down me.
Right.
So you're a coward.
Okay.
All of them. If you're a reform gang member, you're a reform coward. You're a coward to me. What you gonna do? Get mad at me? I expect that. You're not gonna get mad at the people who you should have been forming against.
Right. But yeah, but I mean,
and that's really effed up.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but you know, when we set ourselves up to like you said, allow certain things to become a part of our hip trauma like that. Come on, man. Repeatedly, this Jordan Joker done it repeatedly. He had it to the point he probably had a couple of regulars.
Mm-hmm. That's the scary. That's why I said that's messed up.
That's the thing. It is.
That's why I said, man. And that's why I said, do we concentrate, because we allow stuff like that? And it's like, why are we allowing this? Like, what got us to the point where we're not willing to protect? Because, and I'm not saying it's perfect, but envision, okay, if I'm protecting my neighborhood, either I'm patrolling my neighborhood, just walking around my neighborhood, or the women in my neighborhood are being escorted.
I can see that.
And then so that way, I'm not saying it will alleviate some of that stuff, because he could still do the same thing. So have the man in handcuffs, beating him half to death and doing what he's doing.
Right.
But at least a man was there to get beaten.
Right.
You know, one thing I say is, or he's more willing not to do it because he sees.
True.
A man.
He knows what's going on.
Exactly.
He sees that, okay, there.
Yeah. And that's one thing that made them fear us more, was the fact that they seen the unity. Like, you rarely saw one of our women out there by themselves, despite what they think in history. Our women rarely walk the streets, except during the boycott. We have to shout out to the boycott, because during the boycott, a lot of them walk. Once again, it's showing that when you sacrifice, changes happen. Remember, they walk miles to work to not ride that bus.
I got you.
So, but we at least had at least we were there to help protect our area. Was it the best protection? I don't know. I didn't live during that time. I can't answer that.
But I mean, it's a deterrent.
Right.
And like I said, with deterrence, it does but so much prevention.
Correct.
You know? And like, and you know, and like, it's, you know, there's nothing wrong with having neighborhood watches. You know, nothing wrong with being a part of your neighborhood watch. There's nothing wrong with that at all, because you're protecting what's yours. And to go back to saying like why people? Because a lot of times, if it's not affecting me, not affecting my house, why should I say anything? Why should I do anything until it affects me directly? So I mean, other ways, guys. If I'm a woman, he's doing things to me, or my daughter, my niece, my grandmother, my aunt, because he didn't discriminate when it came to age. He didn't discriminate when it came. Now, mind you, when no little kids, now mind you, but we're talking about women. So I don't want to make it like he was a pedophile, but I mean, it was like, I think it was an older woman up in there. This woman was in her 50s. There was a younger woman, and like he had a target on Black women in these neighborhoods, and they said he was known to,
you know why? Because he knew that those women were not protected, and if they said anything, nobody would believe them.
Right, like I said, and which is understandable why they may have not said anything until somebody had said something, and then they came out. Somebody actually got the gumption to tell, you know, or maybe somebody had told before and they didn't get believed, but it wasn't a belief in that, because you was like, okay, you're going to tell another officer, and they're like, okay, so what happened? Oh, really? He did that? Oh, okay, I don't believe you. You never know. Like I said, we were never there, but you kind of could understand, like, okay, why certain things happen, why certain things didn't happen. And like you said, we should get back. And as you said, get back to taking our neighborhoods and policing them ourselves. No, I don't mean running around with a gun and handcuffs. Like you said, you walk around at night, certain hours.
Exactly.
Hey, you know, you set your own curfews on your streets. Hey, your kids will not be on the street after 9 o'clock.
You know what? That right there alone alleviates
Right.
95% of the
Your
crime.
kids will be in the house. Your kids will be in the house on such and such
Crime is
time.
committed by children.
And
so-
the crazy thing, I'm not surprised HOAs don't do that.
You're right.
Because the HOAs have the power to buy your house if you don't follow certain rules
Mhm.
and take your house. They don't have the power to kick you out the neighborhood.
You're right. You know, that's actually what you said. If you just say, you know what, after 9, the children, unless if they're only time they get out after 9, if they are going to work or coming from work.
Coming from work.
And
they say they better look, and they're outside, there better be some adults nearby.
right. And you're right. That cleans up a lot. And that's why I say, you know, it may not be the best answer, but it's a start.
It's a start.
Maybe to the answer.
Right.
And I think that's where I feel like we're scared to step up, because the answer puts us in a position where people will look at us and question us, question our motives. More importantly, start saying, well, who are you? You used to do this, you used to do that. And I tell people, that's life.
Right.
You're going to always have someone that's going to always look at you and be reminded of your past. But your past is what made you better. Your past is what gave you the elevation to
improve upon yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So sometimes we have to get out of that mindset of saying, you know what? Yeah, I did make some mistakes, but you know what? I don't want nobody to make my mistakes. So if that means that if you want to keep telling people my mistakes, that's cool. While you're telling them my mistakes, I'm going to tell them what I did to get past my mistakes. That way they can get the full story. And sometimes we need to do that. And I just think that's where we feel like we're scared, because we're scared of what our friends will say, what the so-called cool kids in the neighborhood, you know, our black card gets pulled. I never knew we could have a black card, but our black card gets pulled all the time. It's like, oh, you think you're not black anymore, I'm gonna take your card. Well, last time I checked, my skin color is still alive and the other side still sees me a certain way. So until you can approve those two things,
right,
shut the F up.
Right.
I said it. What you gonna do? Take my black card?
But yeah,
been arrested more than any of y'all black people.
Right. Right, man. But yeah, that's what, you know, we need to work on, you know. And even if it's like I told you, even though our villages are not the village, we can still have them. You know, it's just, I mean, dog, if we can get together and come together when things are going seriously left, like you said, a death of a citizen. He was a citizen, regardless of how you may feel. Death of a citizen. Why can't we come together and make, you know, something that's negative? We need to come together for something positive,
right?
You know, or to make that negative into a positive.
No, I agree with you. Oh, and no, I mean, there's nothing against that or anybody. I do think you should be treated fairly and anything like that. I just, it's sometimes we have to. And it's not that it's 100% that it's going to stop them from doing what they're doing.
Right.
But if you say, you know what, I'm going to try my best. If I have 10 men, because we're committing the crimes. So if I have 10 men, if I could keep at least 8 of them from going down that path, that's a better rate than sending 6, 7, or 8 down that path. And then when something happens and I'm like, oh, why did it happen? No, it happened because you sent them down that path. And when I say sent them, I'm not saying directly push them, but indirectly we do a lot of stuff. There are parents out there who know what their kids are doing, but as long as them kids are paying the bills in their household, they will allow it.
And something just sparked in my mind. Now, may the rest in peace our grandmothers, your mothers.
Right.
Now, remember when you go out the door, first thing they tell you is what?
Where you going?
Right.
Who knows where you're going?
Right. First word. And then when you go out the door, they tell you be careful.
Be careful.
Watch yourself.
And
make sure don't get.
You better be back here before curfew because this door is locked.
Right. And I think as parents, not you in particular, we quit being the conscience of the kids, of our kids, and when they go out that door, thinking
that's fair.
You know, and that's another thing is we got away from. You know what? Like you said, hey, if you ain't back here such and such time, you know, you're not getting in this house. And then once you make it back in this house, you got some consequences to deal with.
You seen what's that the biography on Shantae?
No.
Oh man, you should see that one. There's a scene in there. She came to the door. Her mother looked at her and she said, "What time is it?" And she's like, "Come on, mommy." She closed that door. It would not let her come in the house. I'm laughing.
Right.
It ended up being a bad situation for her
Right.
altogether, but it showed that, hey, if it hurts me to do this, but if I don't do this, you will not understand why I do
Right.
this. And you're right on that. It hurts parents now because even I find myself sometimes having to say, yeah, it was hard for me to go through some of the things growing up. Yeah, it was strict and things like that, but it was strict for a reason.
Right.
Sometimes we want to be relaxed and say, you know what, we're living better. I think that's one of the things us as Black
Right.
people, we're better off now.
Right.
We have more things.
Right.
Instead of saying, no, rules still apply no matter how great your life gets or how great you want your children's lives to be. You still need to have that foundation because that foundation can save a life.
Right.
So yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, because and I think we talked about it some time ago. I remember I brought up them things getting planted into you.
True.
And then you see it again when you get older yourself. Them things in you, they come about. Okay, damn. Because I thought about it. Like I said, I sit at my grandparents' house. Like a lot of things that I do down in the house, I watch them do. You know, same thing with my parents. If I was at my own place, same thing. Like, okay, well, damn. And people are like, well, how did you learn to do these things? And what? Because, hey, I see my grandparents, my mom and dad do the same thing. So when things get ingrained into you, like you said, and that's what bases the foundation you're doing. You're ingraining something in them to have a responsibility and respect for their house. Because why? They're gonna respect your house when they come in, respect your rules. You know, they you know, and it's pretty much okay, the same thing. And like you said, we've gotten away from that. You said because we live a little bit better. Oh, now we know government cheese no longer exists.
Right.
You know.
We think because we're not in those environments where we have strict rules, not realizing the same. I tell people all the time, even though we talk about our community, going to their communities ain't even they worse too. It's just not as overhyped.
Right.
But your kids be facing some stuff when you move out of the neighborhood to their neighborhood. They be facing the same thing. So those rules got to be in place because no matter what environment you're in, you have to make sure that you protect what you have.
Okay. Yeah.
So but I was just thinking about it because you brought up a good point. We don't have the answers, and I don't. And then I thought about it. It's like, no, we have answers. We just need to know how to apply them. Not every answer can be applied, or not every answer can be applied the way that it's set up. But you can dissect it, work with it. Maybe improve in it, take away from, and then say, let's fit it to this situation, because not trying is just as bad.
Yeah, it is.
It is. And I think that sometimes we give up so quickly. And you mentioned that, and we see it a lot in neighborhoods where you just see people giving up, and it's like, I'm never gonna be nothing. That no child should ever say that. I'm never gonna be anything. No child should ever say that in their lives. But I've heard children say that. I heard people say that.
Yeah.
I even heard some adults say that. And it's scary.
Right. It does get scary when you say adults say that. You hear it come out of an adult's mouth. Yeah. Very scary. Yeah, it is. So,
and that's why I was like, we need to figure out something, because if we look, and I know I'm horrible at this, so if we look at our neighborhoods, we got religion on lock. We're good with that.
I think that's our problem.
One day we're gonna touch that. Yeah, we're gonna touch that. We're gonna touch that. I like that.
I think that's our problem. We got that on lock, and we instead of using it the way it's supposed to be used, in a sense, I just say yeah.
Yeah. No. I love that.
You know, because and people. Yeah, that's another conversation. But yeah, but back to you saying we got religion on lock.
We actually do have black businesses on lock, despite what people think.
We do, and I told you we've been there and done that. So what's new? What's next?
So we know how to do houses.
But like I said, we just don't invest in more of what we do with black business. Not saying hey we need more black business. No, we need to invest ourselves more into black businesses.
I agree with
you.
You
don't need to start more of it, which is fine. But the question is, what about the ones that are already around? Why are we investing in them? You know, why aren't we? You know, okay, my man got a rib shack on the corner. Why am I gonna open a rib shack on the corner, on the opposite corner?
I agree.
You know, he has the better recipe. You know, hey, maybe he wants to franchise. Hey man, how about this? How about open you a store on the opposite side? Just show me the basic stuff of how you run yours. We just carry the operation over there, and we split it how we split it. You know, in the beginning.
I like that. I mean, you're right, because we do more of trying to compete with each other instead of actually saying, "Hey, how can I help grow?"
And then when we compete, it's not a friendly it's malicious competition. Yeah. You know, not trying to say, "Oh, well, you know, I'm just trying to put them out." No, dude. Hey, look, this is my price. This is their price. What are they offering you? You know, and the thing about the crazy thing is, what we do as black customers to each other, we expect the holy homeboy discount.
Of course.
You know, oh, it's $100, man. Why don't you just give it to me for $30?
Exactly, man. They only made $20 to make it. Come on, man. I'm saying I go down here and I can get it for this price, but then you have to explain to them. But by the time you spend the gas and everything, you actually spending more. But hey,
right?
Do you
right? Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, and then it's like we wonder why, you know, we struggle. You know, we wonder why we don't have certain things. You know, because at one point, people that are not familiar with Charleston, there were a lot of black businesses downtown Charleston. I'm gonna tell you, there were literally like at one point there was a block with nothing but black businesses.
I believe Charleston has a lot of rich culture.
It does, and I tell people all the time, there was record stores, there was all kinds of stores at a certain area. I forgot what area in between, because I remember when I used to come back to visit, we used to go downtown all the time and just hang because you know, with my grandmother, she went to church downtown.
Right.
She lived downtown for a little while before she met my grandfather. So a lot of her friends at the time, you know, lived downtown. And, you know, like that one block I told you that one day.
Yeah.
I remember I just told you, this is such a block, isn't it? You said, yeah, how do you know? I said, I used to come down with my grandmother all the time.
That's right. Yes.
And I said, look, because a couple blocks over, there's a pool. There's a basketball court right here. Showed up, there was a basketball court, the park right there. I said, yeah, I used to come down with my grandmother all the time. You know, so I mean, yeah, we don't invest in each other like we used to, because we feel like they said, we feel okay. What you offer me, you're gonna get up. What I'm charged, what you charging me to what you're offering, you're trying to get over on me.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm trying to get over on you because I want the discount. You know, instead of paying the price.
Exactly.
Because I'm pretty sure if I come back and pay the price, eventually you see me enough, you're like, hey man, how about this? You come here buying this so much, hey, buy it in bulk. And I'll charge you this price.
Yep.
Oh, word? Okay. But this is what I need you to do though. You let your people know about me, let your friends know about me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now mind you, and this is where we mess up at. No, and I'm gonna tell you, no, I'm gonna cut you the deal, but I'm not necessarily gonna cut your friends the deal. So please don't let them know, you know, hey, this is our thing, but you know, we'll work something out. I'll work something out with them if they come as frequent as you do.
Right.
But that's between you and I. You know.
No, you're right. And somebody was screwed up.
Yeah, somebody always will.
Yeah,
oh man, you let so-and-so get a discount on that money. Okay, well, that's
you ain't gonna get a discount.
Right.
He ain't gonna get a discount.
Right. See, hey, I just gotta go back to the yesterday's price is not today's price. As they said, you know, that's what it turns into.
Yeah.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
I agree with you.
Yeah. Now this is today's price. You're gonna pay today's price since you said that. So yeah. But I mean, that's just like I said, we busy holding each other back, not holding each other up. you know, pushing each other forward. We push each other down all the time.
That's true.
We push each other back, but we're not pushing each other forward, or we're not pushing enough of us forward.
I agree.
You know, because you said, like you asked, like we always, we'll start the black business, but okay, what's next after the black business? Black banks. We got a few of those. We could use some more black banks out there.
That's what I'm
We
saying.
could use some more black credit unions out there. You know,
I agree with you. I'm with you on that.
you know,
Matter of
we
fact,
got plenty of black funeral homes. Go ahead.
no, that's funny. We got the mark on black funeral homes
We got black
because
funeral homes.
at one point in time, white people couldn't bury us. So guess what?
Right.
So that's why black funeral homes are mostly family ran because it was a
Right.
family. But you know what? I'm gonna promise myself before this year is out, I will have an account at a black bank.
Oh, I know quite a few around here.
Yes, I will have
I
an
know quite a
account.
few. So
Yeah.
we'll work on that.
Yes.
Because matter of fact, we'll talk some more about that later. But definitely, yeah, and that's another thing too. Like you said, yeah, black banks may start off small, but how do they grow? People, and what do people do? Put their money into it. You know. Matter of fact, I'll give you one right now. It's it's Charleston County Federal Credit Union is off of Cannon and Rutledge.
Okay.
So that's one.
And it's a credit union too.
It's
So
a
that's
credit union. So, but we'll talk offline. So that's the start. So, like I said, they're out there. We just gotta look for them.
right.
There's plenty of out there. We just gotta look for them. And like I said, we just gotta wholeheartedly invest. And like I said, no, you gotta pump your whole paycheck. If you just start out putting $25 in that account, and then you put another $25, you know, or find out what they got going on. Hey, if you open this account with $100, this is what we can offer you. This is what you get for $100.
That's true. I like that.
Because that's what all the banks do.
Yeah, well, especially credit unions.
What? Hey, you open it today, we'll give you this toaster.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put you in a drawing for a trip, you know, or we'll credit you whatever you put into it. So if you put in $1,000, we credit you another $1,000. That's $2,000 in the bank. That's $2,000 in the credit union. And mind you, credit unions that you get monthly dividends. So if you said you might earn maybe 50 cents. That's 50 cents more than you had before, maybe $1.
And people don't realize that.
Right. So, but I mean, that's just what it is. So,
okay.
I like this for Black History Month. You know, you want to shout out a black business that you know of?
Man, so many. So, I do use Ash Kicking products.
Who the hell is Ash?
So, it's a company they're actually on the West Coast. They make lotions, colognes, and stuff.
Okay, Ash Kicking. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're. So I ain't trying to be funny.
No, they're black owned.
Black owned.
We had that conversation.
Okay.
Yes, we had that
I
conversation.
just want to make sure.
I've done this.
Yeah.
I really have done this. So I go read the bio first,
right,
and then I will go look at some of the
Because what happened a couple years ago when I asked you. So I'm gonna tell you a quick story.
That was funny.
So I'm in Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta area. I'm chilling out. So I go in Target. I see this nice little sweatshirt. I love it. I said, yo. I was like, it's a Target. It's big as day. It's got Africa colors and everything vibrant. I was like, yo, this is fly as hell. And I took a picture of it and I sent it to you. And I was like, and I sent the tag too. I said, look, hey man, I got a funny feeling about this. Look up this company, get back to me because my phone is about to die. So when I get my phone charged up, I call them back and come to find out what was the deal with the company.
So it was a company out of California of these white people who have this big family and they have adopted a little girl. One little girl.
What?
I don't think she was African, but she was African American.
Right.
And she was the lighter version of African American, by the way. I don't know if that matters, but it was a white family and it was their company. And if you look at it, the product looked black and they were selling it as a black owned product.
Right. And that was the thing. I was like, that's weird. So I didn't buy the sweatshirt. So I didn't buy
No, but that is a good point because after that, I started looking at some other companies and it got a little shady with where they black it. So I read the bio. I even look at some of the comments and I see how many people who are of us that buy to see if it's really truly a black company, because there are a lot of companies out there. They're on the black wave. That don't necessarily mean they're
Right.
black. So they'll have a black line. And
Right.
you got to be careful with that. But yeah, that company
Yeah,
is
it
black
was
owned.
weird. It
Yeah,
was a
no,
lot.
that was it's a bunch out there,
Yeah.
especially when you start looking at Instagram. And because Instagram is quick, so
Right.
you'll post it and be like, yeah,
because like I get it like on Facebook, I got a lot of feeds for HBCU T-shirts
mhm.
and whatever, and they look nice. But at the same time, you got to look at them and make sure that this company may be based out in Korea.
You're right. So
China.
that's a great question.
Right.
And with the HBCUs, because colleges make money off their likeness.
Right.
So who controls the likeness of HBCUs?
That's a good question.
I'm actually that I really want to know, because
That's a good
have they
question.
licensed it out? Because that's extra funding.
But I thought when they had that tag on it, remember the tag that comes on it in the T-shirt itself?
Yeah.
Usually with that usually is some kind of license. I think we gotta look it up.
Yeah,
We'll do that.
That'd be pretty dope.
That is.
Because I know I will hope that they have like a certain company, because like it would be dope if Nike had them, broke a deal.
Because that's what the NCAA does.
Yeah.
Like when he gets that little tag on the collegiate, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it's licensed to be an official product of sports in general, whether it's football, basketball, whatever. So I'm pretty sure that somebody's got to deal with that.
And the next show we do, when we do it, I'm gonna find that it's a company. I thought they were really black. I thought they were African black owned. Running shoe company. They're running shoes, like,
Right.
And I'm like, cool, that's dope, because not to be racist or anything, they run over there. So
Right.
I'm looking at these shoes.
Not to be
Yeah, but it's made by white Africans who employ black Africans to make the shoes, and they use the black Africans to promote the shoes. Yeah, I'm telling you, boy, it gets deep. When you made that statement, you gotta really research, because
it can be a beautiful product, it can be a nice product, but like you said, when they use our likenesses and our characters about us, you kind of got to be careful.
Yeah.
Or they might be running around in blackface in their office,
Or they reenacting their fantasies of black rape scenes and stuff like that.
And things that people are into, you never know. But yeah, I mean, we can go ahead and close it down.
All right.
Get deep because they shut down on both channels.
I know, right?
Just go black.
Hey, we'd like to thank y'all for joining us. Got anything you want to say?
Oh man, please share, please subscribe. All platforms, just about, Instagram, to Twitter, Facebook Live, YouTube, share, subscribe, comment, input, whatever you want to do. Please, by all means, we like your feedback is very, very much expected, respected. Is very we would prefer. Yeah, we would like that very much.
Yeah.
So yes, and like I said, it's happy Black History Month for all my fellow African Americans, Black Americans of African descent, indigenous people of African descent, African, indigenous people from Black America. However you want to describe your skills, by all means. So,
okay, and like you said, share, subscribe. Please feel free to reach out to us. Hey, if you ever want to come on and talk to us, hey, we're willing to talk to you. Have questions you want us to answer?
If you want to battle and argue with this man, by all means, reach out. Because like I said, we banter all the time. So just to watch him banter with other people is very funny to me. It's very interesting to me. And the crazy thing is, like, when he shuts you down, I laugh harder. So I mean, it's all good, So,
and we'll like to say, no, we don't have the answers, but we're willing to try. But more importantly, we're willing to implement them, and not just to say that we're doing something, but to actually see a success. And always remember, anything that we say, we try to do it in our lives first.
Yeah,
and that's the key: is always do it in your life first, because your life can be the representation that people need to see. and not always that you're out there doing. Sometimes just doing what you're supposed to in your life can change other people's lives. So always start at home.
True.
All right, so we're out. Be blessed, be safe, and don't eat too much fried chicken.
Oh, it's still cuffing season, by the way. Still cuffing season. No matter how warm it gets, damn it.